Do you think a few small habits can't destroy your car? Think again. Just one unconscious action can turn your engine into scrap metal and burn a hole through your wallet. Today, I'll point out the 10 most foolish mistakes many people still make, each of which can cost you thousands of dollars in repairs. Mistake 1. Shifting into reverse while still rolling forward. Have you ever seen someone in a hurry to stop their car yanking the gear lever straight from drive to reverse while the car is still moving? A few seconds saved can destroy the entire transmission. The drivetrain, whether automatic or manual, is designed to change direction only when the vehicle has come to a complete stop. When you force a shift into reverse while still rolling forward, the gears are forced to rotate in opposite directions. The immense friction chips the teeth, jams the pins, and sooner or later the transmission will fail. I once worked on a Jeep whose owner wanted to park like in an action movie. After a few times, the car started making a loud clunking noise, and just a week later, reverse was gone for good. The overhaul bill came to $3,600. That bad habit saved nothing, but made him go broke sooner. Mistake 2. Overfilling the engine oil. One of the most common mistakes I see every week is car owners adding too much oil. They believe more oil means better engine protection. But the truth is, when the oil level is too high, the crankshaft whips the oil into a foam, which causes a loss of pressure. This leaves the bearings, piston rings, and main journals starved of lubrication. I once saw a customer add almost half a quart of extra oil after a change. Just a week later, the rear crankshaft seal blew oil sprayed everywhere, and the transmission was flooded with oil. The repair cost was over $1,000. The irony is, if he had just used the dipstick to check the issue, wouldn't have happened. Always remember, the top mark on the dipstick is the safety limit. Don't trust your gut. Trust the measurement. Mistake 3. Believing in lifetime transmission fluid. Have you ever seen lifetime transmission fluid in your owner's manual or on a label and thought you never needed to change it? Don't be fooled. In reality, transmission fluid always degrades. High temperatures, constant pressure, and metal shavings from friction turn fluid as clear as honey into a thick black sludge. I once opened up a transmission at the 100,000-mile mark, and the inside was so thick with sludge that a shop towel couldn't get it clean. The owner trusted the no maintenance needed label. The result was a slipping overheating transmission and a replacement cost of nearly $5,000. The solution is simple. Change your transmission fluid every 40 to 60,000 miles. It might cost a few $100s, but it's a real-life insurance policy for your transmission, not just a fancy marketing claim. Mistake 4. Topping off gasoline after the pump shuts off. Do you ever try to squeeze in a little extra gas just to make the number on the pump round? This is an extremely costly mistake. When the nozzle shuts off automatically, your tank is full. Forcing in more gas will cause liquid fuel to flood the evap system, which is only designed to handle fuel vapor. The charcoal in the canister gets soaked with liquid fuel and quickly fails. The result, a check engine light turns on the car, runs sluggishly, and fuel consumption skyrockets. I once had a customer who stubbornly topped off his tank for years. The result was a completely dead evap canister. His car wouldn't pass the emissions test and couldn't be re-registered until he replaced the new unit for nearly $600. Stop that pointless habit right now. When the pump stops, hang up the nozzle and walk away. You'll save a few cents but potentially lose hundreds of dollars. Mistake 5. Frequently dry-viving on an empty tank. The red gas light isn't a challenge for you to test every day. When the gas level is always at the red line, the fuel pump is no longer submerged in fuel, losing the necessary cooling and lubrication. It has to run hot and dry, which accelerates wear and causes it to burn out quickly. I've replaced many burned-out fuel pumps simply because the owners were always running on fumes. Not only that, but the bottom of the fuel tank is full of dirt, rust, and metal dust. When you run it dry, all that gunk gets sucked into the filter and fuel injectors, clogging the entire fuel system. Replacing a fuel pump can cost hundreds of dollars, while adding a few gallons of gas early is much cheaper. The golden rule: don't let your tank go below a quarter full. This not only protects your car, but also protects you from breaking down in the middle of the highway. Mistake 6. Using plain water instead of coolant. Do you think plain water can temporarily replace coolant? That's a deadly trap. Coolant doesn't just maintain a stable temperature. It also prevents rust, lubricates the water pump, raises the boiling point, and lowers the freezing point. Plain water does none of those things. I once removed a customer's radiator, and the inside was as thick as pond mud with a layer of rust caked on the water pump. Bearings were worn out, and the thermostat housing was corroded with holes. All because he topped it off with tap water instead of the correct 50-50 mix. The repair cost far exceeded the few dollars he would have spent on a bottle of pre-mixed coolant. Unless it's an emergency in the middle of the desert, never use plain water. Invest in the right coolant to keep your system running smoothly and your engine safe. Mistake 7. Believing a mechanic who says to replace the entire AC unit for $2,000. One of the tricks garages often use is to claim your entire AC system is totaled and needs a new compressor valve, condenser, and evaporator for over $2,000. But the truth is, the most common reason an AC loses its cool is simply a lack of refrigerant. I once had a customer who was quoted a full replacement, but all it took was adding 1 can of refrigerant costing $10 to get his AC blowing icy cold again. Imagine if he hadn't known, he would have lost $2,000 for nothing. This shows you before you agree to any repairs, check the refrigerant pressure first. If it's just low, add some note, the date, and monitor it. Don't become a victim of huge bills from greedy mechanics. Mistake 8. Flooring the gas pedal when the engine is cold. The most dangerous moment for an engine is right after a cold start. The oil is still thick and hasn't had time to lubricate all the pistons, bearings, and camshafts. If you immediately floor the gas pedal, the metal components will rub together in dry conditions, causing more wear than at any other time. I once saw a Mustang owner who would do a Fast and Furious show every morning after starting his car. Just 3 months later, piston slap and loose piston rings caused the engine to rattle, and the repair bill was nearly $5,000. This bad habit is completely avoidable after starting. Let the car idle for about 30 seconds, then drive gently for the first few miles. Don't make your engine a victim just because you're impatient to show off its power. A 60-second wait will help your car live for many years. Mistake 9. Parking your car in the sun year-round. You may not realize it, but leaving your car in the scorching sun all year is one of the ways to slowly kill your car. Sunlight and UV rays destroy the paint, causing it to fade and peel. Plastic, rubber, and door seals also crack and become brittle. The interior upholstery bubbles, the dashboard cracks, and the leather seats get burned and stiff. I once saw a sedan that was only 8 years old but looked 20 because the owner left it outside its entire life. In contrast, a car of the same year regularly waxed, polished, and parked in a garage still looked shiny and new. The solution is incredibly simple. If you don't have a garage, invest in a car cover and get your car polished and waxed regularly. A few dozen dollars on protective products will save you thousands of dollars in repainting or interior replacement. Mistake 10. Not changing the engine air filter. Many car owners think the air filter is just an accessory and a little dirt won't matter. But imagine this, an engine needs to breathe just like a person. When the air filter is clogged with dirt, less air gets in, the air-fuel mixture is thrown off and the engine suffocates. It burns more gas while noticeably losing power. I once removed the air filter from an SUV, and the inside was packed with dirt like mud with even some dry leaves. It was no surprise that the car was sluggish, got poor gas mileage, and blue-black smoke. Just replacing the old air filter with a new one for a few dozen dollars instantly made the car lighter and more fuel-efficient again. This is a cheap part that directly affects the life of your engine. Don't ignore the filter replacement schedule, which is typically every 12,000 to 15,000 miles or sooner if you frequently drive on dusty roads. These seemingly minor habits are silent car killers. From the engine and transmission to the interior, each mistake can cost you thousands of dollars in repairs. Be smart, avoid these 10 mistakes, and you will save money while extending the life of your beloved car.